Hey guys, welcome to another Listen Closely. Today we're going to be talking about spirit connections, what they are, how do you know if you're in one, and what are the different types of spirit connections. Basically, a spirit connection is someone who you feel very drawn to. There is an energy about them, and they are people who, before we are incarnated into a lifetime, they are basically people who we have signed contracts with many times, and those people, they come into our lives to help us to grow. The meaning of life, of course, is growth. So, we're here growing in our lifetime whatever lifetime we're in, we're there to grow. We're there to achieve different soul missions. And the spirit connections that come into our lives are there to assist us with our growing process, and in turn we assist them with their growth. Now, spirit connections, usually that you've found one. Basically, you will feel drawn to them many times. The energy that you get from that person will be really good, and you'll feel like you've known the person before. Basically, there are 4 different kinds of spirit connections. You have kindred spirits, karmic connections, potential soulmates, and then twin flames. I'm going to get the 2 easiest ones done first because there's not much to the subject matter. The first 2 are kindred spirits and karmic connections. Kindred spirits are basically people who come into your life. They can be platonic or romantic, but usually more platonic. The romantic relationships are usually more of the potential soulmates. But the kindred spirits, they come into your life. They're there because they want to help you with some aspect of your growth, and likewise you help them. Excuse me. And usually they're in your life for a season, and then they move on. And it's a very basic spirit connection. You will feel usually drawn to these people, like you've known them before, and they will feel comfortable, and they will, they'll help you, and you'll help them, and usually there'll be a very close connection. The second one is karmic connection, or karmic connections. Now, karmic connections, karma basically means, to put it, very plainly, karma usually, you've either done something to somebody in a previous life and now you owe them back. Usually it can be, bad karma that you've done to somebody, or even good karma that you've done to somebody. And it can go either way. Usually whatever happens, the other person will owe that person a karmic debt in another life. My parents are a prime example of a karmic connection. My dad, in a previous lifetime, sacrificed his life for my mom to try and save her. And my mom remembered that and signed a contract with my dad in this life, because in this life my dad has an illness, and my mom is currently helping him through that illness. And that's her way of paying my father back for doing something incredibly noble for her. So she is owing him in this lifetime a karmic debt, and she does that, and she chose to do that through the karmic connection. So those are the 2 really basic types of spirit connections, and then you have the more complicated spirit connections, which I'm going to go into now. The first one is potential soulmates. Now, what is a potential soulmate? There is a misconception in our world that, when we're born, we're going to meet our soulmate. And our soulmate is this one special person who is going to, we're going to marry them, and it's going to be magical like Cinderella, and that's not the case. There are no soul mates in this life, or a soul mate singular, as we believe in popular culture. You have what's called potential soulmates, and there are many of them. And potential soulmates can be platonic or romantic. Usually they're romantic, but they can be platonic. For example, a parent can be a potential soulmate. A parent, there are many different types of love: romantic love, love for your parents, love for a child, love for a pet. And, these potential soulmates between parents, or siblings for that matter, they come into our lives, and, again, they help us, we help them. But whenever we think about, holding hands on the beach and watching the sunset or sunrise, whatever you want to say, when we think of that real romance, we're usually thinking of a potential soulmate. And potential soulmates are contracts that we have made with other spirits in the spirit realm, and they are to help us to grow and to learn, and usually we learn about romance from them. And you have many. In many cases, you get to choose your potential soulmate. And, soulmates, they come and go. And the one thing you have to learn that's very important about a potential soulmate, and this is what determines the whole marriage factor and who you're going to be with for the rest of your life, is divine timing. Now, what is divine timing? Divine timing, there's no time in the spirit realm, but there's time here. And, our guides and loved ones, they're aware of the concept of time over here. And basically, people will come into our lives at a set point in time. There is a divine timing, a divine set time for which people enter our lives. Now, when they do enter our lives, the divine timing is either right or it's wrong. If the divine timing is wrong, that person is going to be in your life for a season, and then they're going to leave your life. Now, how can the divine timing be wrong? Well, the divine timing may be wrong because you are in two different places in your lives. They may be at a different growth point, and compared to you, you may be more advanced than them. They may be catching up to you, or vice versa. Some people, need to meet other people before they meet that one special person. They need to learn about different types of people before they, before the divine timing is actually right. And some people, I hate to say it, some people, the divine timing is always wrong. Some people don't have a firm concept of being able to be in a relationship. They're constantly learning because of what they were shown by their parents when they were being raised. So the divine timing is either right or wrong. And usually when the divine timing is right, that person will just fit your life. It'll be like a glove. You won't have to have the same hobbies or interests of that person. Hobbies and interests don't really make a relationship anyway. I found that out way late in my life. It's morals and personality and values that really determine whether or not you will succeed with somebody. And of course, there's also maturity and being fiscally responsible. But, that's talk for another time. I would have to do... You'd be going into a relationship video with that one, and I want to keep things strictly to the spirit types. But there are many reasons for why the divine timing is either right or wrong. And when the divine timing is right, you won't even need to try. I mean, that person will just fit your life like a glove. You won't even need to talk to that person. It'll just be you enjoy being in the same company as that person. The energy will feel right. It just feels like, there's no friction in the relationship. Likewise, when the divine timing is wrong, most people tend to know when it's wrong because their intuition tells them. Usually there will be some friction, there will be some hesitation, you'll question whether the relationship might be healthy for you or good for you. there will be, if something in the relationship doesn't feel right or it doesn't feel comfortable, it's usually your spirit or your intuition trying to tell you that, the divine timing is not correct for you to be with this person. And over time, that will eventually play out, and you'll find out that the divine timing is not correct. And of course, like all spirit connections, you'll feel drawn to that person. You'll feel like you knew them in a past life. They are a connection to you. And they're meant to be. And they're there to help you grow, to help you learn about relationships, so that eventually you do end up in the correct divine timing. And you end up meeting someone. But usually it's a process. You rarely ever hear of somebody getting married to the first, to their first love. It's a learning process. People come into our lives. The divine timing is usually wrong, but there's something to learn from that person, and we learn it. And eventually, as we move through the motions of life, we do end up, hitting the right divine timing, and everything works out. But that's the potential soulmate in a nutshell. Now, the last type of spirit connection is the most complicated spirit connection. It is known as the twin flame. Now, what is a twin flame? The twin flame is basically you. It is, in a way, your spirit. It is your spirit energy. And the person is basically the yin to your yang. They are a mirror reflection of you. And twin flames, we all have a twin flame, by the way. And twin flames, they come into our lives and they teach us the most intense lessons of any of the spirit connection relationships. And the twin flame relationship can be platonic or romantic. They usually are platonic. They can go romantic, and usually a romantic relationship with a twin flame is said to be the most intense experience of any relationship you could be in, because you're in a relationship with yourself. And even though that sounds kind of weird, it's actually a good thing, because nobody knows you quite like you. And so the twin flame relationship, what's important to know about it is the person is your mirror reflection. They are the yin to your yang. And usually the relationships with twin flames are very on and off. When they're on, they will be fantastic. The energy will be great. You'll be getting along with your twin flame. Everything will be perfect. And then, like flipping a switch, all of a sudden a fight will happen, and then the relationship with your twin flame goes off. And you won't talk to that person for a while, and then all of a sudden it goes back on again. That person comes back into your life, and it goes off, and it goes on, and it goes off. And that's the nature of the twin flame relationship. And not everybody meets their twin flame in every incarnation, but you do end up meeting them through many incarnations, and eventually the end game for it all is once you reach your highest pinnacle of spiritual growth, a state of nirvana, if you want to say, usually you're reunited with your twin flame. It is the last romantic relationship you will ever be in. And it'll be the most intense romantic relationship you will ever be in, because the person you're basically reuniting with yourself. And the way you know that you're in a twin flame relationship is there are 4 real points to it. Usually what will happen is, like all relationships, you'll feel like you've known that person. And the energy will be really great, but you will be drawn to that person. You'll be magnetized to that person. That person, they'll feel almost like family to you. Even though, which they could be family, but you'll feel very comfortable, very attracted to that person. Not attracted not attracted in the romantic sense, but you'll be attracted to be around that person, to be in that person's energy. And then the second key sign of a twin flame relationship is sometimes you'll have where it feels like the universe is conspiring against you and your twin flame. You'll want to be with the you'll want to be around your twin flame. You'll want to hang around them, but what'll happen is it'll feel like everybody's telling you that person's not good for you, or something of that nature. Like everybody in the world's trying to separate you, or the universe itself is trying to separate you. And then when something does go bad with your twin flame and you go off, people will usually say, "I told you that person wasn't right for you," and basically your response to other people telling you all this information is, "Oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it." And it's not that, people are trying to be mean to you or trying to hurt your relationship with this person. They genuinely care about you and they want to see what's best for you, and they don't understand the twin flame dynamic most likely. And so they're just doing what comes instinctual to them. But, the twin flame, usually that's what will happen. It'll feel like the universe is conspiring against you. And then the third one, this is the major dead giveaway that you've met your twin flame, is your relationship with your twin flame will be on and off, on and off, on and off. When it's on, you will feel, basically things will be great with your twin flame. The energy will be great. You'll be doing things. You'll be going places. You'll be like, "Man, this is great. I like being around this person. This person's just super. They're fantastic. I'm having a great time." Basically, everything will be perfect. And then, like flipping a switch, you'll get into a fight or an argument with your twin flame, and then, the arguments with a twin flame are usually very intense, and when they go off, you won't talk to your twin flame for an X period of time. And then time goes on, and you end up seeing your twin flame again. And again, things start going great again. The energy's great, and it's the whole cycle. And then it'll go off again, then it'll go on again. And that's the nature of a twin flame relationship. It's a very intense energy, being with that person. And all twin flame relationships are like this. If you think that you have a friendship with somebody and it keeps going on and off, and you're saying, "What is wrong with this relate?" It's no different from every other twin flame relationship. All twin flame relationships are like this. And the last part of a twin flame relationship, the fourth part, is the growth. And the growth that you get from a twin flame relationship is the largest amount of growth compared to any other of the spirit connection relationships. The growth you get is even greater than a potential soulmate connection. The growth usually happens when the relationship goes off. And the twin flame, they are a mirror reflection of you. They show you the best parts of yourself and the worst parts of yourself. And by doing so, you end up making the greatest changes in your life. You achieve the greatest amount of growth. I personally have had the pleasure of actually meeting my twin flame in this lifetime. And, it's exactly like what everybody says about a twin flame. My relationship with this person is on and off, on and off. This is probably I think the third time now. Right now my relationship with my twin flame it's off. We had a fight or an argument, and so right now, me and my twin flame are off, and You know, it'll most likely be back on again because that's the nature of the twin flame relationship, is it goes on and off, on and off. And the thing about it is, you know, I can honestly say, you know, when it comes to a twin flame, one of the other hallmark signs, I guess I should have mentioned this before, one of the major hallmark signs of being in a relationship with a twin flame is when things go off. You know, you could get into a fight with somebody and somebody could say something, and under normal circumstances you'd tell the person to go fuck off and you never want to see them again. And the problem with a twin flame relationship is that you can't end it. You feel drawn to the person. You feel connected to that person. You want to maintain the connection to your twin flame, because when the relationship goes off, it feels many times like a part of your soul is being ripped out of you. It's a very painful thing to go through. And because twin flame relationships are painful, when they go off, usually there will be a desire at some point down the road to reconnect with that person, to reform the relationship and become friends again, because you want that energy back in your life. You want that person back in your life. They mean something to you. You care about them because they're you. The energy is you. You don't want to cut that person out of your life. And the thing with a twin flame is, unlike other relationships, unlike other spirit connections where, they come into your life, they serve a purpose, and then they're gone, the contract is complete. The twin flame can never be broken. The twin flame cannot be broken because it's you. You may go your separate ways in life with your twin flame, but your twin flame will be back in another incarnation. So the twin flame connection never really goes away. But the greatest, I will say this, if you've met your twin flame, cherish it, because the greatest amount of growth comes from your twin flame. Even though you'll get into fights with your twin flame, I can honestly say that my twin flame has made me a better person. They really have. They made me a better person because they showed me another side of life. And I used to live in a bubble, so to speak, in terms of my ideologies and what I did hobby-wise. And a lot of the growth I'm going through right now is because of my twin flame. My twin flame showed me different parts of life, and I liked those parts of life, and I want to experience them more. So, my personal life is changing. My hobbies and interests are changing. And I owe all of this to my twin flame. My twin flame really brought out better qualities in me, in my opinion. And that is the point of the twin flame. The twin flame is meant to show you the best and worst parts of yourself. And you go through the most intense amount of growth. You really do. And when twin flames part ways for good, usually they part ways because, both parties want it to be that way. And you still have to go through intense pain when twin flames part ways. There's no real way around that because you're parting ways with yourself. But most times, because that pain is so extreme, that's why the twin flame relationship is on and off all the time. It's like a never-ending cycle. It's on and things are great, the energy is great, you love being around your twin flame, and then it's off, and you'd say terrible things to each other, and you don't talk to the person for an X amount of time, and then something will happen when you'll either see or you'll hear from that person again, and you'll be back on again, and you'll be talking with that person again, and that's pretty much how it is with a twin flame relationship. The end game goal usually for a twin flame relationship is to be, you're usually reunited with your twin flame once you and the twin flame have reached almost to a state of nirvana. And usually the end, in the final incarnation when you're with your twin flame, it will be usually romantic, because it's the final romance you will ever be in, is basically with yourself. And, it's the most intense relationship. And, that's it after that. You've been in the best relationship that you could possibly be in with your twin flame, and that's how it ends. You're reunited, and that's it. But until that happens, twin flame relationships, they're usually platonic. They can be romantic. If a twin flame relationship does go romantic, it'll be one of the most intense romances you'll ever experience in your life, usually, from what they say. But the problem is, again, due to the on-off nature of the twin flame relationship, usually the romantic relationship doesn't last. But again, if you were meant to get into a romantic relationship with your twin flame, it's usually because there's something you need to grow from, or a lesson that needs to be learned. And you can bet your bottom dollar that because it's a twin flame, the growth will be very intense, and it'll be very meaningful than compared to the other types of spirit connections. But most times the twin flame, as you're moving through the different incarnation lifetimes, the twin flame is usually platonic. And, even though it can be intense and it can be in a one of those experiences, you will feel very drawn to your twin flame. You'll want to, whenever things go off, you'll want them to eventually go back on again, and usually they do. Again, it's a twin flame. That's, when things go off with my twin flame, that's what I just say to myself now, is it's a twin flame. That's the nature of the relationship. So, to reiterate, usually twin flame relationships, they're on again, they're off again. It'll feel sometimes like the universe is conspiring against you. It'll be a very close connection with that person, like you're drawn to them. They'll feel almost like family. And you gain the greatest amount of growth from your twin flame. Now, you don't have to have all four of those things, but, usually the on again, off again is the hallmark sign of a twin flame. You'll be on with them, then you'll get pissed off at them over something, and things will go off. You won't be able to kick that person out of your life. You won't be able to end your relationship with them. Because of the nature of the twin flame relationship, you'll want to keep it going. And then at some point, it'll go back on again, and then it'll go off, and it'll go on, and it'll go off, and that's the nature of the twin flame. And that's the biggest hallmark sign. And that's mostly what you need to know about the different types of spirit connections. If you need any information, I might actually post a couple of links down in the description. I'll probably post an article about twin flames if anybody wants to read about them. And, kindred spirits and karmic connections, there's not much to say about them. I'll post something about potential soulmates and twin flames in case you guys want to read it. They'll be in the description section. And if you guys have any questions on the different spirit connections, feel free to email me or drop a comment, and we can talk about it. But until next time.